it was a slow evolutionary process. When he started his family, I don't think he was thinking about getting them to kill for him, you know. But there was a point in time where he saw he had this enormous control over them, and he could get them to do anything he wanted for them. And he had this immense hostility towards society, so he used these minions of his to vent his spleen.
Let us testify. Why won't they let us testify?
You have to realize this. Manson had the raw material to work with. Just like water seeks its own level, each group tends to seek its own kind. I mean, he didn't knock on the door of the average American home and ask the people if they had any young daughter or son that he could take with him, and they said, fine. Every one of Manson's followers, before they met him, had already dropped out of society. Most of them were heavily involved in the use of psychedelic drugs, so he had the raw material to work with. Now, with that raw material, I would say that for the most part, Manson used conventional techniques to gain control. He would try to subvert their sexuality. A new girl joining the family, he would induce her to have sex with another girl, a boy with a boy. And it was pretty obvious what he was trying to do. He was trying to break down their ego. When they'd have their sex orgies, he was like a maestro, orchestrating what everyone else did. No one else touched anyone else or kissed anyone else unless Manson told him to do so. He also used drugs very effectively. They used all types of drugs, peyote and everything, but the main drugs were marijuana and LSD. And those who have used LSD and those scholars who have written on the subject matter of LSD, they describe it as a mind-altering and mind-expanding drug. It's a little difficult to know what they mean, but they do say something that's a little more understandable and relevant to this case. They say that when you're on an LSD trip, you're more susceptible, more vulnerable to the influence of third parties. So Manson goes on all these LSD trips with his family. Very cleverly, however, either he takes no LSD himself or he takes a smaller dosage of LSD than they did so he could retain more control over his mental faculties. And while they were on these trips, he would dig down deep into their psyche and try to remove many of their long-standing convictions on life, such as it is wrong to kill. You might ask them, who told you it's wrong to kill? Well, everyone knows that. My parents told me that. He said, well, your parents were wrong about everything else. Maybe death is a very beautiful thing. We have a sick earth here, and maybe by removing people from this earth, we're doing them a favor, and they don't even realize it. So it was that type of thing. I would say that the main technique that Manson used to gain control, the most effective technique, was simply preaching to his family on a day-to-day basis in an isolated setting. The isolation of the setting is very, very important. If you push something at someone long enough, eventually they're going to start buying it.
The system has just judged itself. It's just judged itself. It's all a matter of time now.